Skip Bayless, right? He was all in the news, all over the internet.
Okay.
So the Skip Bayless era may be officially over.
Okay.
Right. And so this is I think short. If we look at this through a short-sighted lens, in recent history, man, he's taken some elbows, kicked some punches in recent history. But when I was looking at this and reviewing this story and kind of looking at kind of more of the recent history, this dude was a bit of a kingsmaker, right? Stephen A. Smith, who gives Skip Bayless all the credit in the world, who's essentially responsible for modernizing this current debate TV sports format that we all can't seem to get enough of, even like the J&K show, where it was him and Stephen A. That show exploded and did an amazing job. And Stephen A., who right now has the #1 show on the network, gives Skip Bayless all the credit in the world. They were together. Skip leaves ESPN, goes to Fox, 2016, I think it was.
Right.
He goes there and decides to go with a recently fired Shannon Sharpe from CBS. Remember, he was doing. He was on the panel for their sports lead-in for football. Grab Shannon Sharpe. I don't think there were two people walking the earth that thought Shannon Sharpe was the best person for that. No one knew it. He didn't have that platform when he was with when he was on CBS. He didn't do that. Said a couple of things. That was it. He goes there, gets on the show with Skip, blows up. Incredible. The show does incredibly well. It falls apart. It frays. That breaks up. Maybe Skip was thinking, I've done it twice. I can do it again. He gets Keyshawn Johnson.
Keyshawn, I don't know. Yeah.
It's not for Keyshawn.
No.
Listen, I like Keyshawn when he was on the football field.
Right.
I'm not a fan of him on television.
No.
I'm not. Listen, the first thing I would say, and Lord knows he doesn't want my advice, he wouldn't take it, but I would say Keyshawn has this way of coming across like it's beneath him. I've heard him say, I'm not media. Right. Whereas, and when you look at
he knows.
Well, when you look at those who have been far more successful, they embrace it. Hey, I've heard players say, "This is my job now." They'll catch flack from other players who currently play. Say, "Damn, you should know you play. This is my job now, man." Right. And so they embrace it. I'm in media. He's not. He got Michael Irvin to go on there. Michael Irvin, I think, is good as a spectacle to kind of watch. But in that format, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. He had Richard Sherman on there. Again, it's not there. And I think also a subtext to this is, I think he was somehow he came out as the bad guy between him and Shannon Sharpe. Some of what took place with them played out on camera for us to see. And so it seemed like legions of fans kind of went to Shannon. Shannon is bigger than he's ever been. And so society, we need to have a good guy, bad guy. So I know this was a huge lead in, but I wanted to kind of frame this up to lead into the question. Do you think it's over for Skip Bayless? For Skip Bayless. He's in his, I want to say he's in his 70s at this point. He's done it. Is there still an opportunity for him to do this again, or do you kind of see the industry, the world has kind of moved on without him, man?
Well, listen, they kicked my man Biden out for ages, and they're gonna do the same thing to Skip.
Oh my God!
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it is what it is, man. This ageism is a real.
Do you think it's ageism?
Ooh, yeah.
Look, well, let me ask you this: Have you seen the show?
I've seen the show.
That ain't ageism.
Well. Like you're saying, do I think he's gonna get another chance?
Yeah, I think.
Right?
Do you think
I think every time. I think whenever you get a chance to go younger, you're gonna go younger. Like, why keep recycling Skip, who's been doing this for a number of years, right? A number of years, and when you have the opportunity of getting a lot. Listen. They got a lot of these young women broadcasters who they're gorgeous, they're beautiful, they're eye candy, right? They may not know a ton about sports, right? But They're good eye candy, right? Then you have these other men on there, right? You know, younger, good looking, right? They may not know as much as Skip. Maybe they don't, right? But I've never thought, and we spoke about this before, you don't need to be the smartest cookie in the room to do some TV, right? You know, but if you have the looks, right? Or if you have that name, right? Like Shaq I don't think Shaq is good on TV at all. But he's Shaq, so he has the name, so it's gonna work. Plus he has that good team behind him, which, you know, so the whole thing with Skip, I don't see it. I think there's a lot of younger, a lot of also talented broadcasters and commentators in sports that can easily fill that position that are itching to take his spot. I think everybody has their time, right? They have their time and they go through it. And he's been on, 2 successful shows, right? To his name, right? Probably more, I don't know. But these are the last 2 that have been really successful. So he's worked with some really good people and he's had a lot of success. But at the end of the day, every good thing comes to an end at some point. And I do think that ageism is a part of it. Yes, I absolutely believe it. And, you got to pass the torch. Biden passed the torch. So Skip is going to have to pass the torch too. And I already know there are a lot of people just waiting to take his place. So I personally, if you're asking me the question, do I think it's the end? I mean, listen, I think it's the end as we know it, right? I mean, you see people bow out on TV all the time. David Letterman has done it, right? He bowed out of his late night talk show. Jay Leno has done a thing, but you always see them come back. I think Letterman is doing some specials right now. I forget the name of it. I think he does it on Netflix, if I'm not mistaken, and he interviews people. So it's done as we know it. Will Skip come back in some form or another and do some other kind of sports thing here and there? But it's not going to be anything like what he's had in the past. That's my answer.
Yeah, I think the Skip Bayless era is done. I think it's over. Okay. I think it's over. I think it's kind of moved on. I don't think it's ageism though. Mm-hmm. I think it's ratingism. I'm gonna make up a word.
Okay. Well, a part of the ratings is from the ageism.
I don't think so. I don't think so because if Shannon, think of it this way: if Shannon Sharp was still on that show, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. Okay. He would still be the age that he is. Mm-hmm. And we wouldn't even be talking about this.
Mm-hmm. Because he had a partner in crime.
He had a partner, and it was good. The show was good. It was good content.
So his partners is the problem. It's not Skip. You're saying it's more of.
I think Skip does best in that format. Well, he has a podcast. Mm-hmm. It is difficult to watch, right? If it were watch his podcast, mm-hmm. watch grass grow. Mm-hmm. I'm watching the grass grow, my man.
Yeah, that's
right?
bad. Yeah,
right. He sits there with a piece of paper, and he's just talking, and he's reading off the paper, and it's you don't even. You're like, what is this? You almost feel like he didn't know the camera was rolling.
Right. Well, this is why he couldn't be the star of the show. He needs to be with big people like Stephen A. and Shannon, right? You're right.
Exactly.
Right. He can't carry it by himself.
Right. But hear what you just said. Mm-hmm. He needs to be with someone like Steven, right. like Shannon. Right. How many of those are walking around?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, not many.
Right. Not many. Who's moving numbers like Stephen A? Stephen A gets offered, $18, $19 million a year at ESPN? He turns it down. Shannon Sharp is so large at this point. It's like the numbers that he's putting up in this industry that we're in, mm-hmm. same thing.
Right.
How many, if that person existed, mm-hmm. he would have already had him on his show. And that's why I think mm-hmm. it doesn't happen. Right. Unless he's trying to identify someone like Shannon mm-hmm. that he can kind of groom and cultivate. But even now, when I go through my head, mm-hmm. I'm like, who is that? I don't even see anyone. Now, mind you, I didn't see it in Shannon either in the beginning when he was at CBS. Mm-hmm. But who can that be? He's tried people, but it doesn't seem to work.
Now, then if you can't do it yourself, then you might just have to hang up those cleats, you're saying. That's the sad part. So you should be able to do that. But you should be able to know that you're not the man. You should be able to know that I can't carry the show. I'm going to have to find it. Like you said, there are no Stephen A's out there. But then what do you do at that point? You do have to try your best, right? You got to try to find the best person.
I think he did.
Yeah, well,
I think he did.
Mm-hmm.
I think he did. Well, he did try.
Right.
And I said Richard Sherman, Paul Pierce, Michael Irvin, Keyshawn Johnson.
right.
Those people that I just mentioned, and then now consider Stephen A., Shannon Sharp. It's different, man.
Well, it's because sports broadcasting has changed from back in the days, from the 70s and 80s, when you had real sportscasters. Well, I won't call them real, but I think they're different, like Howard Cosell's of the days, right? You didn't. Well, then again, no. Howard Cosell did have a big personality. I think you need to be anywhere in anything you're doing on TV, right? You're doing podcasts like we're doing. You gotta have that personality, right? And I don't think Skip has that personality. He's not Shannon.
He's a counterpuncher.
He's not Steven. Right, he's a counterpart. So counterparts can't carry shows, right? They could be there as a counter. They could do the the color commentating, right? But you can't do the play-by-play, right? You just can't do, and you have to know that. Right. But I hear at the end of the day, he probably did know it, but he ain't going to give up that contract. He's going to try to stay on that goddamn show as long as he could have stayed on it. He says, they're just going to have to boot me out of there like they did.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I guess just to kind of wrap that up, one, I still say for some reason, people took sides in the battle between him and Shannon Sharp. I don't think that helped him at all. And the other part is, although the comments I made about the content that he puts out is unwatchable, I hope that there's a way that he can somehow remain. I just don't want to see him go away, right? It would be great if there's something.
But you think he's dead. You think he's done.
I do think he's done.
He's done as we know it.
Right.
But like I said about Letterman, he's going to come back in some kind of way. Not on that level. But I don't think he's completely done. He's still going to do his thing.
Well, word was ESPN said thanks but no thanks. So there are some folks, some networks that have said right. He's
done a network.
Right.
To do his own thing.
Right. Well, and again, his own thing. What we've seen thus far, bruh.
Yeah.
Bruh. Man, that's tough. That's tough. I like I said, I was not joking when I said when I saw it, I was wondering, does he know does he know the camera's on? Like it's tough to watch.
So it's a good thing I didn't see it. I'm already tired anyway. Put me to sleep even faster.
Right. Good stuff, man.